Okay. Because I know you work with some, like the howitzers too, right?
That was
Later? Okay.
Yeah. But then they put me on. There was on an island of Arundel, and Arundel is an island going this way, and then Kolomanjaro is here. That's looks like a volcanic mountain, but in between is a channel where Kennedy got sunk. Between Arundel and Kolomanjaro, Blackett Straits.
Write that down.
Yeah. And all of this is probably in my story, most of it. But anyhow, I always was a wanderer. I used to go out and gather oranges, wild oranges and wild bananas, and there were wild pineapples too growing in the jungle. And one day I went, now they told me, it said, don't go near that channel between Kolomanjaro and Arundel because there's still Japanese on there. And so I got up there and coming back, the island's shaped like this, and I'm out here, so I thought I'll just wade along
The shoreline.
the shore. And I got back all right, but we traded some tobacco, some moldy tobacco, to some natives for a canoe. And a guy from Cincinnati and I were in this, and we were going to go over to Wana Wana, which is the next island over. It said there were civilians on Wana Wana. And we're paddling along, and where I had waded down through there's a little island and a path between there. And we're going along, and I told him, Bill, I said, there's a log or something up in front. And just about that time, it was a crocodile, and he slapped his tail and went down. And here I had waded, and when he went down, 2 or 3 from the side slid in the water, and here I had waded through there about 2 weeks before that. I must not have smelled good to him.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we had that canoe for a while there. Oh, I don't know. That was, then where did I go from there? When I went back to Guadalcanal from then, that's when I got in the artillery.
Okay.
When I went back to Guadalcanal the second time. Got in the 15th Regiment, 15th Field Artillery.
That's what it was. So you were in 15th Regiment, 6th Marine Division?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the 6th Marine Division was formed on Guadalcanal, north end of Guadalcanal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was disbanded in China. So it's the only division in history that never saw the country that it was fighting for.
I never knew that.
Yeah. It's the only division ever that was formed overseas and disbanded overseas.
Huh.
Then we went from there. We were on the north end of Guadalcanal, training and everything, and then we were loading ships for the assault on Okinawa. And one of the ships was an ammunition ship and blew up. And we were in tents, and the explosion was so strong that it slackened the ropes on the tents, the explosion. And it killed all the guys that were involved in the working party on the ship, except 3 or 4 that were goofing off and sleeping on the other side of the mountain. And then from the next day or 2, 3 days, they were going along with boats, little Ellis Higgins boats, with nets gathering up body parts that were floating or washing up on shore and stuff like that.
Mm. Wow.
That kind of woke you up. It was quite a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was some ammunition that never got used.
I guess.
Then what did we do? Then we loaded on the ship, and I got all this written down somewhere, but we loaded on a ship and headed for Ulithi Atoll. And Ulithi Atoll was like a harbor, like a round harbor, and there was one entrance and that was been used for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went in there, and when we transferred from this ship to an LST, and our LST had 5 foot of 105 ammunition on the deck, and then the guns, the 105 howitzers were on top of that, and that's how. And then we headed for Okinawa, and a couple days out, the one captain, we all had to meet down in the hold. And he had a big map up there and
Mm-hmm.
told us where we were going and everything, and don't do this and don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he said, be sure you're wearing clean clothes, because if you get hit, you don't want to carry a dirty clothes into the wound and all that stuff, you know. Be sure you got all clean clothes on.
Really?
So that kind of wake you up.
So it looks like you were, when I was reading your memoir, you're in the 5th wave. It sounds.
Yeah.
How many waves was it? A total of 5 waves
No,
that came in?
No, I don't. Maybe 7 or 8.
Maybe 7. Okay.
But I wanted off of that thing because we had the bow doors, and at dawn we dropped the bow doors.
And you were just kind of sitting ducks,
And we're
waiting?
we're sitting on 5 foot of ammunition, and the Japanese are coming in there strafing everything. One incinerator shell on this load, and I'm going to take a big ride.
Yeah.
It could be a big explosion. So I wanted off that boat. Whatever was ashore had to be better than being on that stupid boat.
Yeah.
And the Navy did take some serious injuries. There's serious. They lost a lot of ships there.
Really?
More than Normandy.
Mm-hmm.
More. They had more ships involved. 1,400 ships, I think, involved. And they lost a lot of them. The Navy really took a beating there from the suicide bombers
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And I wanted off of that stupid thing. I wanted to get on my feet on ground.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they didn't hit us. But I saw some other ones get hit. Go big kaboom.
Mm.
Them ships, those planes dive right, kamikaze
Yeah.
planes. They dive right into them, and big explosion.
Hmm.
So I wanted to get on the ground.
Yeah. So it looks like you were on Okinawa for almost 3 months?
3 months, yeah.
3 months?
That was a long.
I've heard about Okinawa. It was just it just wasn't comfortable. Like you guys, like insects, like everything, like the weather, the ground, everything, it just didn't cooperate.
The weather was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It got muddy. And I don't know if this is true, but the Navy said they could smell this island if they were coming upwind before they could see it. It stunk that bad. Well, there's about 250,000 dead bodies laying around. And these shell holes would be full of water, and there'd be bodies floating in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Just stink. It was terrible. Then where there was caves, they had every mountain caved out, every hollowed out, and had caves in there. And wherever there was an opening, where the entrance was, it looked like smoke's coming out of it. But as you get closer, you see it blowflies. It's just swarms of blowflies.
Really?
And maggots and everything. It was a stinky bad thing. And this one place, what kind of funny, there's one place, we usually ate rations.
Mm-hmm.
But this one day they brought a trailer up with some food on it for
Mm-hmm.
us. And we're all getting in line, crowding up there trying to get something to eat. And there's body parts laying all over. And this lieutenant just was standing there not too far from me, and he said, "Somebody get a damn shovel and bury that head. I'm sick of it staring at me." It's trying to ruin his appetite.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was him. And then I felt bad for this one little kid. I was about a mile behind the front line. This one young kid, just out of boot camp, still had his head shaved. He was a nervous wreck, and he sat down there, and I sat down with him, and he asked me, well, what should I do? And I said, well, they'll tell you what to do. And I mean, he said, well, you check and see if my gun's right. If I'm not a gun, then call it a gun.
Your rifle.
All right.
Yep.
Then he said, wanted to see if he had it loaded right. And I said, well, that poor kid, he's like just out of high school. Doesn't know what he's getting into.
Yeah.
Then he had to go up that evening. They go up about dusk and replace the line. Then the trucks bring back the dead on the trucks.
I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, well, it's beyond imagination. But they, what was that hill? That mountain that they took, Mount something.
On Okinawa?
Yeah, they took it 13 times,
Oh, I was
they got kicked off of it 12 times. And,
yeah, I read about that. What was it?
I know, but I can't think of it. But anyhow, they really took a beating there. No, why can't I think of it?
See if I can find it or not.
Yeah, they lost a lot of people on that mountain. And there were dead bodies all over. And I never felt bad about seeing a Japanese dead body there, but one place we went into, the horses got hit, and there were parts of horses hanging in the trees, and I did feel bad about that.
Wow. Did you have any, I guess, casualties specific to your unit that kind of stick in your memory? I know you had mentioned your friend, that Garcia.
Kenny. Well, Kenny Helton, he could sing. Oh my gosh, he could sing. He would have been a popular singer, you know. He wouldn't even try. He's the best singer I ever heard. And we were on a what do you call it? Well, now my mind is working. We were on a, I can't think of it, but anyhow, he was right ahead of me, and he got hit 3 times in the stomach and heart. And he lived about a half hour or something like that.
Really?
But he was my buddy. I really liked him, and felt bad about that. And then, well, everybody did. In fact, I can't think of names, but anyhow, after he got killed, I was in a foxhole one night in the dark, and I was having my head down trying to sleep. So this sergeant didn't know that I was there, and he was walking by, and he was it's bad about Kenny. It was bad about Kenny. I said, why the hell couldn't it have been Willer? I actually heard him say that. I know what he meant, because we thought so much of Kenny, but then when the war was over and we were on Guam, he was sleeping in his cot, the sergeant, and I went over and dumped him out of it. And he probably never knew why I did that, because he didn't know I heard him.
Yeah, that would have been a little disheartening, to say the least.
Well, I know what he meant, you know.
Yeah.
Sugarloaf Hill was that place I was trying to think of, but they took it 13 times.
Okay, the area. Okay.
Sugarloaf Hill.
Okay. Now, I know I read a little bit about in your memoir about you didn't receive something with your hearing, with your ear.
That was on the south end of Okinawa, and I was in a foxhole that time, and had my head down at my knees, and a Japanese shell went off side of me, and didn't hit me, but the concussion ruptured my ear and messed my ear up. Boy, I couldn't hear for a month out of that ear. But it's not 100%, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I just, not a problem. Never made a claim on it or anything.
No? Okay.